long. We'll get there. And we'll talk about it. So let me come over here and turn my desktop on. Okay, so here we are down on my desktop. And here's the card that we're going to make. Now it's called, I've seen it spelled M-I-A-U-R-A, like a miara. I think it's an origami fold is what it is. But then I've seen people just write that word and then they put mirror fold. So that's what I'm going to call it, a mirror fold. So this is my take on it, you guys. So remember that. It comes in a million probably different ways. So typically it appears to be held together with a belly band, but I have used just a slice of ribbon that I'm weaving under here. And so you can just take it off, you can leave it, you could do whatever. I'm going to pull it off and then it opens up like so. All right. So it's designed as such that it's not going to stand up on its own because you only have this side as a straight edge to hold it. So I did find Mixed Up Crafts, I think is her handle. Should know her name. She adds a piece to the back, which gives it this kind of probably then like a Z fold or something you'd call it, but it gives it the stability to stand up. So I'll show you as we get going what it would look like without my added piece that lets it stand up like this, or without her added piece. So I'm gonna get started. I'll show you guys how it works. So we're going to start, let me get all my pieces out. Flip them over, I guess, or set them off to the side. So I am starting with, I don't know if you got paper and pencil handy, you might jot them down. To use it like ours, it's an A2, but it is a little narrow. It's almost more note cardish. It comes out 5.5 by 3 3/4, pretty much. So it's a little smaller than our envelope, but bigger than a note card. So it's 10 7/8 this way by 5.5. Then we're going to get our trimmer out and we're going to score at 3 5/8. And so now I'm going to tell you, you could use an 11-inch piece of paper, but you do the math. I stink at math, and that little teeny piece from, what is it, an 1/8 that I cut off, I could not find I'd have had to go up what to the centimeters, millimeters to say we need 5 and whatever. I was not about to get those little hairline measurements to divide this up equally and be able to fold it correctly. So if you know 3 equal measurements or 2 score lines to make an 11-inch equal, let us know, and then we can adjust from there, because the rest would pretty much probably still be the same. It would just be a little tiny bit wider. So I'm going to go with 3 5/8, which is 2 tickers past a quarter, or excuse me, 2 tickers past a half, and we're going to score. Then we're going to go to 7 1/4. We're going to score. Now for the fun part. You need a ruler, or if you're good with your measuring edge here, that would work as well. But we want to come down. Here's my wood ruler. We want to come down on our first score line here. We want to come down 2 inches. Everything is kind of 2 inches. So come down 2 inches and make a mark. And then on this last second score line there at the 7 1/4, when it's out to 7 1/4. Do the same thing. You're going to come up from the bottom at 2 inches. Hopefully I'm not getting ahead of myself. Okay. Then you're going to just score and make a V. You're going to make your V at the top. That's going to go in. And then we're going to make the score at the bottom, which is going to go up. So I'm going to put my little dot in the channel and look for it. Okay. Do we look okay? So I'm going to put my dot in my channel, my tip at the channel, and you know, you lose them easily. If you had something white, that would be great. White gel pen or white piece of chalk. You know, those things, when my mom, I'd see her sewing, she could put a little weird little piece of chalk like on her pin. I think it was on her pin. And then she could poke it and make a dot on the fabric where she had to sew, I guess, or put a pin, or I don't know. I never did learn to sew. I'm going to bring my scoring blade up to that point, that little mark, and I'm going to go down. I'm eyeballing where my mark is. I'm guessing. Then we're going to turn it and go up to this corner. So the same thing, we're going to find our dot in the channel. I'm going to have to come way down. If you have a scoreboard, I'm sure it'll be way easier for you. Because my glasses, I'm not picking up I'm going to go right there with my crossroads of my glasses. I'm not picking up the shine from my pencil anymore. So then we're going to go to there and go up to that corner. And so now we've got the V scored in there. Then we're going to come down to the bottom and do the same thing. We're going to go outward, find our little mark in the channel, put our point in the channel, put our score there, and score up. Turn it and do the same thing. And it does kind of matter if you're very precise, because when you go to fold it and stuff. All right, so we're done for a hot second with that. I'm not going to put it too far away. All right. Now I'm going to fold on my score lines. I'm going to burnish those babies. Now, this guy, we want to go in. So we're going to start to fold like so on our score lines. And then just go ahead and, oh, sorry if that was loud, burnish them down. Like that. Goes down. Then this one, we're going to, let's see, we're going to get it to fold up and in. So kind of, I should, up and in like that. Can you see that folding up okay? Up and in on itself. Like that. I'm going to ease it a little bit to make sure that we're, because we, you know, again, if we don't have our score lines good, we're going to be a little bit off. But for the sake of the video, act like my score lines are right. So now we've got this, and you see how it's not going to stand up? It's not designed to stand up. So let me straighten this up just a tiny little bit. All right. So now to show you guys how she gets it to stand up. Nope, I can't go there yet because we need another piece of paper. So I'm going to set this aside till we get our other pieces going here. We need 3 pieces of designer series paper and 1 like plain piece. So we've got 1 piece 2 pieces, 3 pieces, and our plain piece. All right. And we're going to do the same thing with those. We need to score them or cut them. Okay, so 1 piece set aside with your plain one, because those will be cut the same. Then these 2 need to be cut. One needs to go from here to here, and then this one needs to go from here to here. And the girl said, if you flip it upside down, you should be able to make your mark at 2 inches and cut them at the same time. And now you guys know I usually get discombobulated, so we shall see. There's my mark. So if we cut from here to here, here to the corner, that'll fit that one. And then that one will cut from here to here, which is going to be down there. So, hey, I think I got it. So I'm going to find my pencil mark. Oh, Lord. Oh, it's way down here. Find my pencil mark in the corner. Here. I'm going to start with my cutter like in the middle. I'm just going to poke a hole just to get it started because, and then I drag down to cut it, and then I'm going to go up to finish cutting, because if you try and cut from here, you're likely that you may crunkle it, and just kind of down here is the same. I just wanted, because I'm cutting 2 at one time, I just want to make sure I had enough space. So I'm going to set this aside for a second, and we're going to build, as long as I'm going to get the stuff off my desktop so we don't get all confused. Now this, I was where I was saying too, you could use some designer series paper on your back, but then you probably want to leave all these panels as your designer paper, but then it would just all be matchy, but you could add some other panels in here to contrast it and up here, but I'm just gibbering, but there is, you could do something like that, experiment with it and see how it worked. It would be a great card to use up some of that designer series paper with, because that, I know Patty has at least 24 sheets of that. And see here, my angle's a little bit off, but now I'm going to, oh, that's what she said too. You want to leave a little bit of space. So go ahead and cut off just like 1/8 of an inch off the top of these. So you can't really see. I'm going to put my paper in there. I'm going to bring my blade down to the bottom. So again, I'm not crunkling up the point. And I'm just going to cut off a little smidge of that. And I might as well do its sibling while it's here. Just cutting off 1/8 of an inch, and you just want that to fit a little bit looser in this little piece up here is all. Oops, we gotta make sure we got the right one. And again, they're not hard, because if they were hard, I wouldn't be making these, because I don't do hard. Math is hard for me to come up with the measurements, and the taxes my brain, so I'm thinking here, I got my angle kind of off, because I should have a little bit more space through here. I probably got this one off a little bit, but that's all right. We're going to keep going. I thought I turned that upside down. I must not have turned it upside. Oh, I did. Whew. Take a second to think here. So we're going to go turn this one over here. Oh, pooey. All right. I didn't want to do that yet. I said this one I was not going to do that, but I did. I'm gluing it down. I'm going to have to show you guys what I did and how I'm going to kind of fix it. So it's an afterthought of a thing I added on. I'll show you. Now that one, that's how this one's supposed to fit. So this guy, I must just have a little bit off. I could cut a little more off, but I'm not gonna. So now we have this side done. All right. So what I did, I'm gonna show you. I wanted, you can't really see it. Can you see the leaves on this guy? See how it goes. I used one of the, let me show you. I used this die from the Beautiful Motifs. And I told myself I was going to die cut it before I put it on for you today. Because it doesn't cut completely out. It's one of those, and I'm going to have to do it now and show you. I had to do the same thing on that one. It only cuts loose some of the pieces. So on yours, if you use this die, remember that you got to do the die cut before you put it on. This is okay here. Let me show you. So again, it's just gonna cut this stuff loose, but it does not cut it out of the cardstock. So it did cut through, but I'm not gonna worry about that. And I'm just gonna pop up the leaves. So it just gives them a little bit more depth and a little bit of something on the card, another like little focal point. So all these little leaves kind of pop up, but you can't see it. I ran it by my crew, but you can't really see it. It's very subtle. So you could make a panel, say like this one, and glue it on there, round it up, cut it out, something, and put this on a plain piece and then glue it on there for a focal point on that. I wanted it a little more subtle, which it's very subtle, but that works. So now we're going to cut this one. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut two pieces at once, but we need to go down 2 inches and up 2 inches for this panel. So let me get my little handy dandy ruler. We're going to go down 2 inches on the left. I don't know why I need to worry that that bottom one's on there right now. And we're going to go up 2 inches on the right. Now I need to make sure that so we're going to, oh, wait a second. No, I need to go this way. We're going to go bottom to top. I'm going to cut those two pieces out. And then we're going to go, all right, who sees the mark? Anybody see my mark? I know, Patty, it's 2 inches up from the bottom, right? Oh, I believe it's right there. Okay, so we're going to put our mark in there. Bring our trimmer up. Okay. So now this is going to be our centerpiece. Then this piece, line it up this way. Now, I'm going to tell you, you can skip this piece, especially if your brain is not computing. what I'm going to tell you. Otherwise, you just need a 3-inch by 3.5, and I will show you. So what we're doing here, oops, I want to go this way. I want to cut this in half. So it's 3 inches. So I'm going to come to 1.5 inches and I'm going to cut it. So if you're trying to use up your designer series paper, throw this piece back in the mix and use something else that you can cut, because you're going to bring in now the piece that's going to make this baby stand up, right? Because we're not standing. So this piece is 7 1/8 by 5.5. And you're going to fold it in half. And I went a little smidge smaller just so that I don't have, if it gets on crooked, I want 1/8 of an inch smaller than the I don't know what I'm trying to say. You'll get it. You see it. So that it's a little tiny bit smaller. It looks like I didn't. So that it, when you glue it on, you got a little bit of wiggle room. So we've got this at 7 1/8 by 5.5. Fold it in half. Then we're going to, it's going to go on like this. Boy, that's not a good cut, Jill. We're going to, again, make that 2-inch mark. And I believe that that might even be two inches. I want to say that she had us go, she had the directions a little bit. I got to trim a little bit of that off, guys, because that is just not, it's a little bit long. I was afraid of cutting it too short, and it's a little bit long. So just gonna cut it off. Just a smidge, because I wanted to make sure it was going to go from top to bottom without too much of a border. So we got our 2-inch mark on there. Probably now I need to fix my 2-inch mark, but we're going to trim that off so that it hugs. Oops, this is the front. Here's the back. So that it hugs right up in there. Okay, so we're going to go. I put the mark in the wrong spot. We're going to go down the left side with our 2-inch mark. Where's my pencil? And like I say, let me, I don't know if you can see here, I got a little bit of a gap between the two, just so that that's got room to fold up. So let me see how long let me see, it's 5.5. Yeah, I want a little bit more. So I'm going to go a little smidgy more than 2, just to give it that. I'm going to go like 2 1/8, just to give it that fold up room. You know, that last cutter I used scared me. It sounds so ferocious when you use that little handle. So we're going to go from the outside up to the corner. Outside up to our fold, I should say. We don't need that little corner piece. Now, the 2 pieces that we cut, we're going to glue inside here. So I'm going to start over here and I'm going to cut it straight off. We're going to even it up. And so I'm doing it like this to save or to use up all those pieces of paper. And we're going to glue this right down here. So to make sure, let me show you my piece here. What's up? Can you see how I don't go I don't know if you could see in there all the way up here. Oh, you can't really see the light. I guess kind of there you can. Way down there, the little tiny V up here is not got paper on it because the paper's not tall enough. So if that's going to bother you, then don't use this piece that we salvaged. Go ahead and cut taller ones. So let me see, how tall is this? This is 1.5. So just to be safe, I'd go 2.25, just to make sure you got enough. All that blabber, and I've clogged up my glue bottle because I didn't close it. That was pretty stuck. Okay, let's glue this on. And then we're just going to cut off the all right, who saw me do that and didn't tell me? Let me get my Post-its. Oh, let me get my scrap paper. I just wanted to have it be a little more noticeable, so I wanted the pink side up. I could run over and grab another piece of paper, but this should work. I had some, and then go ahead and leave your little bit of a border. And then cut the edge off. Handy dandy scissors. And then on this side, we're going to do the same thing. Trim that off, the edge. And then this time, save that little triangle. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down because this one does not go all the way. So we're going to put a little bit of glue on it. And we're going to just line it up and glue it down. So, you know, it's pieced together a little bit. And I don't think that that's where let me look. I don't think that that's where I ended up with my little triangle. Oh, I did. I glued it down here, but we're going to cover it up. So we're not going to really see it all that much. All right. So now we've got this done. Here's the back of our card. So we just want to glue it on. Line it up and glue it on. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to try and be careful. You don't want to glue on this. I'm going to try and be careful so that I don't get too much glue to affect my piece there. So we're going to glue this on the back. Let me make sure it's in the right spot for folding. Probably need more glue than that. Give it a little bit longer to dry before I start monkeying with it. Okay. So we'll give that a hot second to dry on there. Then I'll open this guy up and kind of do the same thing. Oh, I went too low, didn't I? We just want to glue on this piece. I think I did. Did I? No. Glue that piece down. And then now that'll go up. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, there you can see my inside. You see my little pieces inside that don't have. paper on them. There we go. This one's opening up further. So again, if that's going to bother you, then cut up some more paper and use it. But you just kind of want to make sure you leave a little bit of a, you know, your border along the bottom and the side. And then just be careful that your glue doesn't glue it shut. So now we can move on. There we go. Now we have our two pieces. I can speed up probably a little bit now. We're going to glue those on. The two flowery pieces that we cut. Oops, guys, we need to trim a little bit off of that. Remember, trim that 1/8 of an inch off. Gum up your cutter with lovely liquid glue. There we see now. There we got a little bit of a border. So trim our 1/8 of an inch off again. Start from the, and then we're going to glue that one down here. All right. Oh, that one looks so small. And then this guy is going to go in here and fill up this hole. And so I'm thinking, let me stamp on this while I got it right here, and then we can glue it in. So I pulled out my beautiful motifs just because I don't know why it hit me. So I'm going to use, I didn't know what kind of card to make. I didn't put any kind of a sentiment on the front. I could have put like for you or something. But I guess maybe I'll just put a thinking of you. Thinking of you is always a good one. No, I'm going to use celebrate because you know what? I can use a lot more birthday cards than I can. Although I should send more cards and just use, yep, you know, thinking of you card, but, and then I have Blackberry Bliss because I think that that's kind of Blackberry Blissish. And I'm just going to set it on here like this so I can get a feel for center. We're going to leave that like that, and then we'll glue it on and get this off the desktop. Now, if you use a white, like 12 by 12 in white, or a regular 8.5 by 11 in white, you wouldn't need this piece because you can leave it white, and you would just do these two pieces here of one of your colors. Oh, hold on. Should go. Oh, I didn't leave enough room right here. I got it on crooked. Let's see. All right, don't look. Look away while I fix this. This is where I cut it a little bit, where I said we cut a smidge short so that this way, so that it had space to do what it needs to do. So here we go. Now it's going to close a little better. I'm going to go ahead and burnish on that fold. Help it along. And that wasn't even the fold that needed to be burnished on. It's this one. Okay, so what did I tell you this was? 7 1/8 by 5 1/2. It looks like I'm on there okay, but I'm going to say, you know what? I didn't go down to 7 1/8. I left it the same width as the 2 panels. So I did 7 1/4. So cut it down to 7 1/8, and that will. So listen to me on my instructions, but don't cut like I did because that wasn't right. All right, so now we have our card made. All right. And then I'm just going to finish it off with, I got my Memento ink, and then I have the big flower from Gallery Blooms. I'm going to use this one. Memento. Oh, that's not what I want to do that on. I want to do that on this piece. Right here. And then I'll color really fast. So I have some dark blackberry bliss. We're just going to kind of come in here and add some dark around some of these lines. Fill that in a little bit. Like so. See how it turns out going fast and not really paying attention. I'll probably color the leaves. I debated on whether or not I should have it all colored because you guys know how to color. You guys know how to do all of this. And then I'm going to come through with light blackberry bliss. And I'm just going to, that does not look very light. Just going to put some more color on there. I think I need a new one. Looks like the tip's not cooperating properly. And that almost looks darker than my dark. Let me see the other end. You guys have any issues with your 2 tips being different strengths? I sure do. See, this one's not quite as dark. All right, I'm just scribbling now just to hurry so. Then I have some darker bubble bath, some dark bubble bath that I'm going to come through and just try and fill some of that in. Spread that around because when you make weird lines like that, you got to make sure that you're getting it like go in circles, and that'll help spread out the, you know, like my little scribble lines I did. It helps fill stuff in. So we're going to call that good. Then I'm going to use the pecan pie because that's what color is in here that I'm pulling out from in here. So that's what I got. This color, this tip looks like I could use some new ones of these as well because the tip is very flat. And then I'm going to get my light. That is not a leaf. That's the. And I'm leaving a little bit of the white, or I'm trying to in some places just to give it a little more unfinished kind of, but I do need to fix that right there. So we'll pull out our light bubble bath because that's what we grabbed. And yes, it probably should be a dark color, shouldn't it? Because it's down there at like at the bottom. So there we go. And then we need to cut it out. So I'm going to take that die from the Gallery Blooms dies that goes with that stamp set and grab this big flower. Try and lay that on there. Call that good. Where's my other plate? Hold that down. Roll that through. Sorry for the shaking. All right, so now we got our flower cut out. Oh, hey, look at there. I did pretty good. Woo-hoo. All right, and then finish that off. I did pre-cut from the sentimental framing dies. I used this guy and made that. Then I'm going to take this guy who measures the same as this. So I laid this on my trimmer and made sure that he was the same, kind of the same. It's a little smidgy big. So I got 2.5 by 4. Might be 3 7/8 actually. Nope, 4. And then I have my free bin at a crop I was at, Creative Memories Corner Rounder. Love the free table. And I'm going to round those corners off like that. And then I'm going to use that awesome mini corrugated folder. And I'm just going to line, I don't want to get so close. I'm going to line that up on that Stampin' Up line there, just so it kind of appears to be straight. I'm going to just use my base plate and my gray plate and run that through. Now this one doesn't matter, obviously, because it's a corrugated fold. I don't think there is a right side to a wrong side. All right, so now bring this back in, and I do hang over the top a little tiny bit, but I thought that it looked better hanging it up over the top a smidge than to try and center it in the space. So I did go up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is glue this on flat, and I'm going to skip that corner. I better go this way with the glue because that's not going to help me to have that down in that channel. All right. And so we'll hang it up a little bit above. I'm going to call it kind of centering it in this space a little bit. So we're going to go up over the top a little bit. Glue that down. I'm going to take some dimensionals on that piece. And probably small dimensionals would be the best because you can then put them in the spaces and they won't be seen through the little holes. And then if by chance something were to get on it, you wouldn't see them. It wouldn't get stuck in the little holes either. So I'm just going to use 4. It probably needs a little bit more than that just to help it stay up, but I want to be able to feed my ribbon through. So you can strategically place another here and there, but we're going to just put it right over the top of this guy. And then when I went with the 4 inches it did, the corrugation shrinks the paper down a little bit, so now you can't really see it if you're a little bit. Thanks, guys. You're not going to see it. It's going to shrink your paper down a little bit. So remember that too. If you use this corrugated folder, you might cut your paper a little bit bigger than what you need. And then I'm going to say, when the waves are going this way, if you put your paper in this way, because you want it to go up and down, then make it a little bit wider because your ripples are going to pull it in. If you want to run the ripples this way, sideways, then make it a little bit taller, not a whole lot, but it'll want to be a little bit taller. With the ripples going this way, it'll pull it down, if my brain is processing that right. So cut it a little bigger and then you can trim it down after you do it. So then we're going to glue our flower on, and I want this ripply stuff to show. So I am kind of offsetting it over a little bit. And so I'm going to put some glue on the stem. And you know what? I was going to pop that up on a dimensional, but I'm not going to. We got enough going on. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on there to grab the flower. And hold that in place. Okay. Then we need, I got this fun ribbon. I didn't even, I just opened it. Basic beige. It's called classic ribbon, but it's like linen. It's so pretty. I don't know what sweet or bundle. It must be a sweet. We'll go with the sweet. I don't know what sweet it goes with, but I like it. It's very pretty. I don't think you can see how neat it is. Very linen, just dainty. Okay, so then I'm just saying, oh, I need this much. And then I need to tie a bow. So if you, that's a measuring technique, you guys. Did you realize that? Let me show you that again. Okay. I'm going to wrap it around like this. Oh, let's start on this side. And then we're going to wrap it around. And then we're going to say, oh, I need to tie a bow. Got that? Snip. That is a measuring technique you can try and see if it works for you. All right. So then I'm going to look here. There might be, no, I guess not. I thought there was a right side and a wrong side. So we're going to feed this ribbon between the corrugated piece and the pecan piece. You see what I'm doing here? I'm trying to give it the effects of a beautiful bow as on the corner accent here, but it's also my belly band. See? That's a fun card. 2 weeks in the waiting, right? Last week in this. And then we're just going to tie it shut. And then I find I get a better bow in the direction I want it if I do it upside down, and I don't know why that is, but it seems to go better direction that I want it to lay if I do it upside down. There. And then you can just, finagle your ribbon around, pull it down a little bit, pull it over a little bit, so it's in this empty corner kind of thing. So that's it, you guys. That is this mirror fold. All right, using just a standard piece of paper. So those of us that don't stock up on 12 by 12, and like I said, you can leave that, the person that opens it can leave it there. It's going to stand up because we've added that panel to the back. And then, like I said, this is very subtle probably, you know, it's not worth it, but to me it added just a little extra. Oh, those need to get added a little extra to it. So let me show you now real quick. Oh, let's see, what do we want to call this? How about our keyword can be mirror. How about that? Mirror. M-I-R-R-O-R. Mirror. Mirror. Unless you know the spelling of the fun fold. All right, since my video got cut off on my live, I'm here to just show you what was missed from last night's live. And we are going to put together one of the mirror cards in a 12 by 12. So the one I did last night used a 10 and 7/8 piece. This time, if you happen to have 12 by 12 cardstock, that's what this one will do. So we're going to go 12 inches by 5.5 inches. We're going to score it at 4 and 8. We're going to make our marks at the 2 inches down and 2 inches up. We're going to put that mark in the channel and then make a score line up to, from the 2-inch mark up to this. Let me get them both situated in the, and then we're going to go back this way. So it's the same setup as the first card. You're going to make your lines at 2 inches, or your dots, sorry, at 2 inches, and then you're going to just score your cardstock to the dots. So you're going to go that way, and then this one's going to go this way. So again, we're going to put the dot in the channel, the corner in the channel. Now this one I'm going to show you. I'm just, so I'm going to score down. I'm just going to put it together. I'm not going to decorate it. So I just want you guys to see and hear the measurements for one of the cards using a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. So we're going to put scoring in and we're going to score. So we're going to burnish our folds. I'm trying to hurry without taking. This one actually will go back. So then these two need to fold down and in, like so. Get that. It helps your dots. You gotta be pretty precise with your dots to help your folds. Then this one is going to, I'm turning it upside down, so we're gonna go up with this one. So up and in. And my papers and stuff don't really match because I don't have a lot of 12 by 12 paper. So I grabbed what I had. So here is a 12 by 12 base. Then we're going to have 3 pieces of designer series paper at 3 7/8 by 5 3/8, and then 1 plain white for the center with the same size. So we're going to take 2 of our pattern papers, and they are going to go here. So we need a dot at the 2 inches. We're going to cut up. We need a dot at the 2 inches, and we're going to cut down. And as I showed you in the other video, because we need a dot here and a dot here, you can take, if the patterns are directional, you can take that and turn it upside down, and it will match. So now we're going to make our 2-inch cut, or 2-inch dot along the edge. we'll put that in our trimmer here. I'm going to start about in the center so the blade pokes a hole, and then I can cut without crinkling the edges. Set that over there. I'm going to hold those for a second. So now we have two pieces that will go on like that. Let's glue those down. I'm going to try and do a little something different just to give you another look. We'll glue that down to here. Again, I cut these on the 1/8. You can cut them on the 1/4 to give yourself a little bit bigger border around the outside of the pattern papers. Here. So my goal here is to get this done, and then I'm going to edit it into last night's video. So we'll see how it goes. So we're going to call that good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and flip these over and see if that's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. I guess I would work down there and up there. So let me see. We've got this piece now left over that we need to cut for here, but I want to have, we need to cut it 2 inches and 2 inches. So let's see, instead, if I flip it over and we cut, yep, we're going to flip it over and cut 2 inches down and 2 inches up. Okay. Let's see, because, you know, I got to be difficult. It just worked last night when I was messing around with it. All right, I paused for a second. We're going to cut this one like it's supposed to. So we're going to come down here to 2 inches. Oops. I think that they'll all fit because they fit on my card I made on the video. They got cut off. I just wanted to get my mind around what it was going to do. So we're going to cut that one 2 inches up. And we'll cut this one 2 inches down. And we're going to cut it with our piece that we need for the center. So we're going to cut both of these together. So we're going to find our 2 inch, go up to the corner. We're going to find our 2 inch mark here and cut down to the bottom. Set that aside. Okay, so this piece is going to fit in here. I'm going to glue it in. You would want to stamp on yours first. I'm going to go ahead and glue this in just to make sure that your stamping is how you want it. I'm going to glue that in. Then we want to cut off just a smidge off from all of our pieces. So like 1/4 of an inch. So we need to take, I got 2 here, not 1/4 of an inch. We're going to cut off like 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to go to these, just this first. Okay, so these were the first 2 pieces that I did that went here. So if we were going to use them like that, we'd glue them there. But I'm going to glue them over on this side. I want to use the back piece of paper. I'm going to cut 1/8 inch off of these. And then these two will slide right into these spaces. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and glue those on real quick. And then this, just cutting it like that and gluing after the fact, just gives you an opportunity to break it up a little bit and use the back side pattern if you like that as well. The one that I did yesterday had a real neat green on the back. And I shared that photo with you guys already on my Facebook page. When I realized that you didn't get to see it finished, I posted it. And again, I am only showing you this 12 by 12 option so you can get all the measurements and see it put together. I did not decorate the front or anything. So now here's this card. Like that. Now remember, it doesn't stand up. So we're going to put the piece on the back that is 8 inches, because it's half of this paper. So it's 8-inch panel by 5.5. Then I cut 1/8 of an inch off the left. I made my mark at 2, and I will show you why. And then we're going to do that trim. Let's see if that's going to be enough. I told you this piece here is a little bit fussy for you. We want to go this way, because that's going to glue onto the back here. We're going to glue that on right here. So that's why I cut the 1/8 of an inch off from this side and the angle, so that it can glue onto this center panel and have a little extra here to be able to fold up. And then I can even cut a little, I'm going to cut a little bit more off there. So again, maybe on this angled here, cut about maybe 2 1/8 off. Oops, I'm stuck. See, this is why we don't start up at the top. Cut like 2 1/8 off, 2 and just a smidge, so that when you put that on there, it's below your score line there, so that this can fold up without any issues. So we've got that. Again, I'm going to take this leftover center panel, and it's 3 inches. We're going to cut it in half, 1 1/2. I am going to use the flowered side on this one. So I'm going to trim, just trimming that point off. And we're going to glue that on down there. Leave a little bit of a border in the center and the bottom. Go ahead and trim that little corner off. Go ahead and trim that again. Trim that straight across. So I cut that off. I'm going to glue that down here, like so. And I'm going to first take this little piece that I cut off, this one. No, where's the one I cut off? Okay, who cares which one I cut off? I must have flipped it upside down or something. I don't see it. I probably threw it away already. But we're just going to glue that piece of paper on here, just so we're filling in that little tiny smidgen of a space. If I can get it in there. I mean, it's barely going to be there. We may not even need it, but at least it's covered if we need to. So I'm going to cut this straight, and I'm going to glue this down. And if you remember from the other video, this you can actually forego using this piece that I've just cut up here and get yourself another piece of designer series paper and then cut it at like 2.5, 3 inches if you want to be safe, by 3 7/8, and then glue it on up here and it'll cover, because you'll see this little panel here, if you remember, you're going to have a little tiny bit here that doesn't have any paper on it, that you're going to have to look to see it, but it will be there when you open it. It will be that little tiny bit up in here that is not covered in paper. So now I'm going to get my glue on here and our glue on here. Oops. And glue this card base onto the front piece. Glue that down. Oops, I went over a little too far. Let's glue that on. Let's fold that. Make sure we're in the right spot. Make sure everything's kosher. And then now it will stand up like that. And again, you'll see just, I can't tell in the, you'll just have those 2 little spots in there. If that's going to bother you enough that you want to cut some more paper, go ahead and cut it. You could probably even take these 2 corners that you got left over and tuck them up in there and glue them down. At least they'll have some paper on them. You know, totally up to you. I am not bothered by that because you really got to look to see that. So there we go, guys. That is our version using a 12-inch piece of paper. More straightforward numbers, score at 4, score at 8, that kind of thing. So there you go with this extra added option. Again, I wish it would not have cut us off last night, but it did. So we improvise. I've added this in. I appreciate you watching and sticking with me, and I will be back again next week. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.